with A&J Outdoors here, and we're doing another install on the boat. This one's kind of important. You ever have anybody fall out the boat? You know you got to have a way to get them back in the boat. And also if you're doing any kind of water sports, you need a ladder on your boat, and that's one thing my Mako didn't come with. It came with a little small step on the other side over there on the starboard side, but it's too high up out of the water for anybody to actually get their foot on it and use it. So the few times we did use my boat for water sports, we were having to manually help pull somebody back up in the boat each time. And then I fish alone sometimes, right? And I'm a bigger guy. I fall out this boat unless I'm in like 2 foot of water where I can just get my butt back up on the back deck here. I'm not getting back in that boat, so we need a ladder. So I did install one ladder, but I didn't like it. It installed on the very back, down low. So it dragged in the water when the boat was moving, so it caused some, you could feel it when you're steering. It wasn't dangerous, but you could feel it. And if you're turning left under power, it would drag, right? So it would affect that. And so of course it's affecting fuel economy. And then one time at the coast, we decided to put our stiffy rod, which is a poor man's power pole, right, between the boat and the ladder to help hold the back end in place. And we had an anchor off the front, and tide changed, something happened. Boat shifted, and instead of pulling that stiffy rod loose, the stiffy rod ripped the bottom of the ladder from the boat, right? So I was like, you know what, I'm done with that ladder. I don't like it. So I started searching for a new ladder, something that could help hold a big guy getting in and out of the boat, but wouldn't be in the way like those ones that hang off the back and hang down too low. And based on reviews on Amazon, this is what I found. It's a very simple design, right? These guys mount on the back deck. It hangs off the back deck like this. Okay, if you can see that, it's a little high, but I'll show you. So these mount to the back deck, and then if you pull this little piece off here, you can see how long it is. That sucker's going to go down in the water for me, right? So that's going to make it easier to get in and out of the boat. And one of the things I liked about it, reading the reviews, there were a couple of guys who were bigger than myself, right? They were over 300 pounds. That used it and said they had no problems getting in and out of their boat. So it's a safety feature, plus it's a convenience feature. Like I said, we got a trip coming to Canyon Lake where we're going to do a lot of water activities other than fishing too. So while we're doing that kind of stuff, we're going to need a ladder to get in and out of the boat. Should be a relatively easy install. All you got to do is line it up where you want it. Let me get this plastic off here. You guys can see what we're dealing with. Right, line it up where we want it. 2 screw holes on each one. Came with 4 screws. Appear to be stainless steel, right, in a little bag. So what do we need? We need a drill, because we got drill holes. We need a marker to mark where we want to put our holes. Drill bits. A little 5200, right? Some people say 4200 is better, but I like 5200. And one of my last installs, I complained about this stuff. When you use it for just a little bit of it, and then you go to save the rest of it, it always hardens and you can never save it. So one of my viewers suggested putting some plastic wrap over it before you put the top on. So that's what I did this time. So we'll get to see if that really works. All right. I think we're about ready. Another thing you want to do, wherever you're going to mount this thing, right, you need to check underneath there. So I opened up the compartment here and made sure it's clear underneath there. I've already mounted this rod holder, so I know what it's like underneath there. It's not a problem. But I just made sure it's clear under there. You don't want to run these screws into wires or anything, you know, any kind of lines, right? Or if you had an overhang, right, and then it comes out the bottom, you wouldn't want that. So, but other than that, it looks like a pretty simple install. So let's get started. Okay, so first things first, let's get the plastic off of this bad boy. One of the drawbacks, and I saw it in comments, and but one of the issues people have with this is it comes with 0 instructions. But it's super simple. So for me, that's not an issue. Okay, so it's going to mount on the back here like this. All right, I just got to find the spots I want it. I want it to come off enough so that it's just touch my rubber rail. If I put any pressure on it, if it tweaks any, it'll just be pushing against that rubber rail. So that's not a big deal. Okay. Also, when it's folded up and put away, And this would be my only issue with it, which still, you know, isn't a big issue for me. But it's going to come over and it's going to lay flat like that. Okay, and laying like that, it blocks access to this compartment, but that's not a big deal. I got my tackle bag in here. I need to get in there. I just flip it back over, right? I don't get in there while we're moving anyway. So I just flip it over out of the way, get in there, do what I gotta do, and then just remember to flip it back before we leave that location we're at. So again, not a big deal. Hopefully this old marker has enough juice in it to mark my spots for me. Back far enough so it hangs down. Right about there. Now, this is where it's nice to have a buddy. Somebody who can hold stuff for you, so you're not doing it all yourself. So I would say anytime you have any of these projects, if you can get somebody to help you, that'd be a good idea. I can always holler at the wife inside to come help me. I like to work on these projects at my own pace, so I don't like to invite somebody over to the house to help me do something, because then I might get 20 minutes into it and decide I'm done for the day. You know what I mean? I don't want to inconvenience other people like that. All right. One thing I didn't mention we're going to need a screwdriver to fit these screws. But first, now we got to pick a drill bit that's big enough for these screws to get started, but small enough that the screws bite into the material and not just go in and out real easy. And that can be a challenge sometimes. So, kind of lay a bit, I don't know if you can see that, it's probably hard to see, but if you've done it before, you know, lay a bit over the screw. You should be able to see the winding on the screw on each side of the bit. The bit should just take up the middle portion of the screw, right? It's the best I can explain that. So there's a good bit for that. We'll start with a smaller one to start our holes. All right, we're gonna make a little bit of noise. Damn. There we go. All right. Another trick I learned watching other people do this, if you don't want to crack up your surface, is start with the drill in reverse. Just get the start of the hole with the drill in reverse. It should do it. Then turn it back into forward and go. Gone back and forth on one thing also, but the reviews have all been good about this, is instead of using screws, doing through bolts with a large washer and a nut on the bottom side, make it less likely to pull these out. But like I said, I got guys who weigh a lot more than me getting on and off their boats with this, and it ain't pulled out, so maybe not such an issue. All right, let me go find a screwdriver. All right, we got the screwdriver. So one of the things I like to do before we go to mounting anything is start running one of these screws in and make sure that hole is big enough. Now, when you go to put the screw in, a lot of times the screw will chip the edges on top here. Not a big deal really, because you're going to put the sealant on it, and then the mount's going to cover it anyways, so you'll never see it again unless you take that thing out. So let's see if I pick the right size screw bit. It should be hard, but not too hard. There it goes, see? So I just chipped up a little piece, even though I was careful with the drill bit. The screw bit it. Ooh, that's getting real tight. I might have to go, yep. I'm going to go a step larger on the bit. And I'm missing a few bits out of that set, so hopefully I got a step larger. You guys are twinsies, and you're way too big. All right, fortunately for me, I am a tool hoarder, and I got all kinds of tools, so let me go find another drill bit. Right back. All right, so got another drill bit. The reason this is important is when you're driving these screws in, here's what I've had happen. Of course, you can strip the screw, right? But these are pretty dang big Phillips heads. It's gonna be hard to strip that, but you could. But what I've had happen more times than not is while you're driving it in there, it's too tight. It's so hot that you snap the head of this screw off, and now you just block that hole with the rest of the screw, and you got the head of the screw. So that's one of the reasons I do not like, or why it's important to drill the right size hole. This feels better already, but we won't know until we get a little deeper in there. Oh yeah, I think we got her. So we went from an 11/64, yeah, that's it. From 11/64 to a 3/16, and that's all it took, size-wise. All right, but that's, again, that's one of the things I've kind of learned after screwing many things up, mounting stuff, is test a screw in before you get everything on there and think you're just going to put it together that you think you guessed right. Even if the instructions that come with something say a certain bit size, still check it. All right. Now, since we're going to be using this 5200, I'm going to go get something to clean this deck area where it's going to be making contact, because we want it to be able to adhere to something. We don't want to ever have to mess with this again. Okay, and the only place you really need it is right over the holes. So as the screw goes in, the screw is going to pressure it, and it's going to build up right on top here between the mount plate and the deck of the boat. All right, there's all kinds of cleaning supplies you can use to clean this, so use whatever you like. This isopropyl alcohol, 91%. So this isn't the normal stuff like the wife uses to take off makeup or whatever they use that stuff for. This is a stronger version. Excuse me. And I use this in, I build rods, not as a business, so just for myself once in a while, and use this to clean the rod blanks. Okay, it leaves no film afterwards, so there's nothing left on there. So let's do it. We will probably add some music and fast forward. Okay, now comes the tricky part. Doing this by yourself is getting this on there, getting the mounts on there just right, and getting those screws in without smearing this stuff all over the place. Let's see if this plastic underneath the cover worked. Nope. Man, the cover even broke. All right, well, that was a fail. Unless that's just the stuff that was still in the cover. No, the plastic failed. Fail. Is this stuff going to come out? Good. Okay, so here's the good part. You got a little hard piece on top. I just used this recently, so hasn't been sitting long, thank goodness. So a little dab will do you. All right, if you get it like that, the little string is not a big deal, because again, that whole area is going to be covered. So this is not one of those places where you got to be real careful with it. There we go. All right, here comes the fun part. I'm not even going to put this leg up until I get this leg started. If you do have a problem where this thing dries up on this end and you really need to use it, you can typically, at this end, it's still soft. You can feel it. Cut one of these corners off. You know you're going to throw it away after that. But cut one of these corners off and get what you need. That's your tip of the day. Wait, hold up. I got some good advice on Texas Fishing Forum of not using the screws to hold this thing in. So what I'm doing today, or the rest of this little
snippet here, is pulling those screws back out and going with through bolts. That way it's a much more sturdy setup. So this part's pretty easy. I already took out one of the screws, right? And when I drilled for the screws, I went all the way through anyway. So all I need to do is find a bolt that's about the size of that screw and long enough to go through. So I found, where this guy's at. Little stainless steel hardware. All right, bolt. Is that the longest one? That's not the one. Yeah, right here. All right. It's just a little tight with these screws, so easy, or these bolts, they got a screw head on them. It's easy to just drive them in or push them in like that. So let's get the rest of these other ones out. Go find some wrenches that fit our nuts. Got a wrench, need a washer, got a nut. What we'll do is we'll use the drill because they stick down below, they're a good distance. So we'll use the drill to get these nuts started on there, and then we'll go to the hand screwdriver so we don't muck up nothing. Again, if you got a battle buddy, if you got a buddy, a fishing buddy or somebody that's handy dandy, or the wife, and you don't want to do this stuff by yourself, you can always call on them to help you out. Boom, that's all it took to change the screws out and put through bolts. So should have started with that anyways. Thanks for the recommendation there, Pat. Appreciate it. He's over on Texas Fishing Forum. And back to your regular scheduled video.
Another thing I didn't have to worry about is, will the motor come over and hit it if you turn the motor, right? Because it's flush to the back of the boat pretty much. And another reason that is because it doesn't stick out. That other one I installed had handrails out here down low. So you did have to make sure you turn your motor all the way this way and trim it up and down, make sure it doesn't hit that. So if you're doing one of those kind of installs, that's another thing you have to consider. All right, let's see what this thing does. Boom, look at that. Whew. All the way to the ground. I could probably use this to get in and out of the boat. Oh yeah, this ain't gonna be bad at all. Yeah. All right. I could consider a little grab rail right in here, a little handle to help people get in and out there, or below the hatch on this side, a little handle to grab to help people boost themselves in and out. But other than that, I'm kind of happy with it. And there you got it. Folds right up, sits on the deck. It's heavy enough. I forgot what it weighed, but it's probably 9 or 10 pounds. That even running at speed, it's not going to come off of there, right? If it did, it would just come around and hang like this, and that'd be probably just above the water's edge. So either way, I'm real happy with that so far, but we'll know in the long run. All right, so there you have it. We got the ladder installed on the boat. So now it's a safety feature for myself and anybody else on the boat. And when we go out and hang out at the lake, we'll get to test it out there, and you'll see that. That'll be in a couple weeks. We'll do that. I'll get some video so you get a chance to see it in action. Do me a favor, if you like my videos, you want to see more, click that subscribe button down below. Don't cost you nothing. Beside it, there's a little notification bell. If you hit that guy, then each time I upload a new video, you'll get notified of the new video. So there you go. Also, for this video, if you will, give me a thumbs up. It helps the channel out. I appreciate it. If you got any comments about things you've done, things you're gonna do, things I should do, whatever, comment below. I always reply, or at least acknowledge all my comments, okay? And so until the next time, peace out.